The world watched an empire collapse and a revolution rise from its ashes. But what came after the fall of the Tsar was not peace. It was something far worse. A war so brutal, so chaotic, that even those who fought it barely understood what they were fighting for. A war that would decide not just who ruled Russia, but what kind of world the 20th century would become. This was the Russian Civil War, the revolution's bloodiest secret. It began with hope. Lenin's Bolsheviks promised bread, peace, and land. They spoke of freedom from oppression, a workers' paradise born from the ruins of monarchy. But within months of seizing power, the dream began to rot. Russia fractured between reds and whites, peasants and soldiers, monarchists and anarchists, and foreign armies all clawing at the same bleeding land. The revolution, meant to unite, instead tore the country apart. By 1918, the Bolsheviks held the cities, Moscow, Petrograd, but little else. Beyond the railways lay chaos. Old generals of the Tsar formed white armies to crush the new regime. Cossack hosts reclaimed the south. In Siberia, an admiral, Alexander Kolchak, declared himself supreme ruler of Russia. Each claimed to fight for the people. Each left ruins in their wake. And somewhere between them, 100 million civilians were trapped, starving, freezing, dying. This wasn't just a civil war. It was a nightmare made real. Trains filled with refugees froze solid before reaching their destinations. Villages changed hands 5-10 times in a single month. In the chaos, no law, no mercy, only survival. The Red Terror, the White Terror, two sides, one cruelty. In the summer of 1918, in a quiet house in Yekaterinburg, the final act of the old world took place. Tsar Nicholas II, his wife Alexandra, their children Olga, Tatiana, Maria, Anastasia, and Alexei, all executed in a single night. The Bolsheviks claimed it was necessary to prevent the monarchists from using the royal family as a rallying symbol. But in killing them, they created something darker, a myth of blood, a warning that the revolution would show no mercy, not even to children. Meanwhile, the whites, no less brutal, unleashed their own terror. They hunted anyone suspected of Bolshevik loyalty, real or imagined. Villages were burned, prisoners shot without trial, entire communities erased in retaliation. And yet, despite the blood, the brutality, neither side truly won the people's hearts. Because, for the ordinary Russian peasant, there were no reds or whites, only hunger, only war. By 1920, the Red Army, forged by Leon Trotsky, had become a machine of iron discipline. He reorganized chaos into order, armed trains, commissars, executions for deserters. He made men fight not for ideology, but for survival. The whites, divided and poorly led, began to collapse. Kolchak was captured and executed. Wrangel fled south, and as the snows melted across the steppes, the war began to end, but the suffering did not. When the guns finally fell silent in 1922, Russia was unrecognizable. The revolution had survived, but it had devoured its own children to do so. Towns lay in ruins, industry shattered, 10 million people gone. Famine spread through the countryside like plague. Parents sold their last possessions for a handful of grain. Children disappeared into orphan trains, never to be seen again. This was not the Russia Lenin had promised. It was a country haunted by ghosts. And yet, out of this wreckage rose something new. The Soviet Union, built not on hope, but on control. Forged in the fires of civil war, its leaders learned one lesson above all, that power must never be shared. The ideals of 1917, liberty, equality, fraternity, had been buried under the snow of 1921. The revolution had won, but at what cost? History remembers the Russian Civil War as a struggle between red and white banners, between Bolsheviks and monarchists. But beneath those colors lay the deeper tragedy, that Russia's greatest enemy was never foreign. It was itself. In the end, the revolution's bloodiest secret wasn't the millions who died, but the silence that followed. Because after the war, those who survived learned never to speak of what they'd seen, only to obey, to endure, and to forget. And so, when we speak of revolutions, we remember the heroes, the victories, the slogans, but seldom the graves. The Russian Civil War, the revolution's bloodiest secret, because sometimes what's forgotten tells us more than what's remembered.